Please proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. I extend a warm welcome to everyone present here at the AICTE sponsored online lecture under AICTE Distinguished Chair Professor Scheme on the topic Life as a Construction Engineer. We from SVC College thank our resource person, respected Dr. Bitaldas Mundhra, former chairman, Simplex Infrastructures Ltd, who is going to give a lecture despite having a busy schedule. Thank you, sir. Now, without any delay, let's start with this. I welcome our respected principal, Dr. S. Ganesh Vaidyanathan, sir, to deliver the welcome address. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vishwashri. A very good afternoon and warm welcome to one and all who have joined this online meet. I am very much happy to welcome our resource person, Sri Dr. Bitaldas Mundhra ji. So thank you. First and foremost, we thank you on behalf of the management of Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, Sri Perumbudur, for coming forward to share your valuable thoughts with us today. In fact, our chairman, Dr. A.C. Muttaya ji, he wanted to convey his regards, probably because of some inconvenience, physical inconvenience. He is not in a position to join this meet today. I also take this opportunity to welcome many other experts whom I find have joined. So I thank you all for your valuable presence. Before I hand over the mic to our distinguished chair professor, Sri Bitaldas Mundhra ji, I would like to inform you all that we have been indeed very fortunate to get an appointment from such a great person, from him. This is not to simply flatter him. I'm telling this out of heart, because when I was a young boy, I used to see in many construction sites that are quite big and used to attract our attention. Though I'm not a civil engineer myself, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. But generally any construction that is happening around us, especially these are the days now, we have very prolific constructions happening for metro and many other things, high-rise buildings. So I'm talking about those days when flyovers and other things were kind of really, very rare. Those days I used to find this word simplex, kept in more than one site. Wherever I used to travel, I always used to see this word simplex. And I used to wonder what this company is doing. And I used to admire, the kind of the technology that they deploy to build, quite complicated structures. Though I don't vividly remember any of the specific projects, I'm quite sure that they must have carried out many projects in and around Chennai, if I'm right in my understanding. So I very vividly remember this word simplex. And today I'm very happy that the former chairman, Sri Bitaldas Mundhra ji, who has spearheaded this very great organization. I'm able to meet this gentleman after so many years. I'm quite sure that Simplex is still one of the pioneers and doing quite well amidst other players and things like that. Now, the second thing that I would like to record here is, to hear to people who have got such a rich experience, like our distinguished chair professor today, is something, I deem it a very great honor. I can tell you in the year 2009, when I happened to visit Stanford for a study tour, there I saw one very old gentleman who was nearly 85 years or more at that point of time, reading going through the books in the library and taking out a lot of books, and he was carrying them despite his physical inconveniences. He was doing that. I was quite curious and I asked someone there, who is this gentleman, or do you allow even elders to come and use the library? I was quite surprised to find when they said that, no, this professor is an emeritus professor who is still in the roles of Stanford University, and he is none other than Richard Hube or Bube. I am not very sure about the surname. He was Professor Richard, who is considered to be the father of nanotechnology and especially the photovoltaic cells, the so-called, we call them as solar PDs. So I was very surprised, and I admired the fact that the universities abroad, they give so much of importance for the expertise and the experience that has been gathered all the way by seniors, and they make these people to give away that to the youngsters who join. It's because look at the age difference. It's more than 75 to 80 years, but still to bridge the gap, because technology is something, though it keeps evolving, I feel that the experience, um, especially that is gained out of the past technology, when it is passed on to the youngsters, it will really make us think more deeply and come out with a lot of good outcomes. In fact, the government of India is also currently looking at the Indian knowledge system, the traditional knowledge system, and they find that many of the traditional knowledge systems are quite advanced. That is in fact more advanced than the current day technology we are all using, the so-called Pushpak Vimana or whatever. I don't think these are all simply myths and they can be brushed away. I'm quite sure that there must be a lot of thinking and scientific, premises behind all these things. So that way, I'm very happy that we have with us today one of the most senior persons, especially an expert in his own field of domain, Professor Bitaldas Mundhra ji, who has, in spite of his, I won't call age as a bar, but still, considering the convention, the conventional way in which elders, withdraw themselves from the society in most of the families, including mine. I really appreciate Sir's gesture to volunteer, to share his thoughts and experiences. And he has been very gracious to accept our invitation and given us a whole lot of 2 hours time today for us to interact. This topic called as life as a construction engineer, I view it in two ways. One is, I think Sir will be mostly dealing with the technical aspects of it, if I'm right in my understanding. I also request Sir to kindly share his thoughts on how to construct ourselves in a philosophical manner, like improving our values, the responsibilities, how we are to take up responsibilities and fulfill them, how to stick on to morals. Because without all this, I don't think a person of this age can still be awarded with so many awards. He's still one of the most renowned and most sought after persons, not only in his field but in general as a good human being. So with this, I once again welcome you, sir. And I also find a lot of veterans who have joined this meeting. On behalf of the management and students of Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, I welcome you all, and I am very eager to listen to Sir, and I'm quite sure that you will all be cherishing this next 2 hours. I request the faculty and students of our college, Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, and also the other students from various other colleges to please interact, make a note of what Sir says, think deeply about it, and ask a lot of questions, because Sir wants this to be a very interactive session. So with this introduction, I once again welcome you, Sir. Thank you so much for offering your valuable time to be with us today. Thank you very much.
Oh, oh, oh.
Thank you, sir.
Kamalastham, Sphatakim Akshamalam, Nakakiranam Vivinnam Dadivi Bija Buddhya, Pratikala Manukarshan Yena Kiro Nishidha, Sabhavatu Mama Bhutyai Varnite Mandahasa. After paying my homage to Goddess Saraswati, Bhagavati Saraswati, I am expressing some of my thoughts before you. Thank you very much for inviting me. I am obliged to Venkateswara College of Engineering, Perumbudur, giving me opportunity to be amongst you. I am very thankful to Dr. M. Yonandam, Dr. Ganesh Vaidyanathan, Dr. Gopinath, and Dr. V. Guruswamy, and also no less Dr. A.C. Muthaiya. I would like to meet him again if some opportunity arises. I am eager to meet the faculties and students of Venkateswara College of Engineering. You have a great institution. And there is one thing more personal. At this age, to meet young students, that is indeed a pleasure. So I am very thankful to you. Friends, this journey has been long. The words spoken before about me, I don't deserve that. But anyway, it is your affection. You have said so many things. I am not an engineer. I am a construction man. I never went to engineering college. I studied pure science and then went into the work field. The problem was that when the problem came before me, which line to choose, I found it very difficult and I was confused. If I choose civil engineering, then what about mechanical engineer? What about electrical engineer? In life, you use all those. And since we were in construction business, I visited one or two projects before joining Simplex. I found that besides the civil engineering, there was a use of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and so many other things. So I decided that I will keep on studying and keep on working. The journey started in 1961, 1st January 1961. I did my schooling in Rajasthan and then came to Calcutta in 1956 and joined colleges and studied up to graduation in science. Those are good old days. Life was little sedate and slow, but it was wholesome. After completing my graduation, I was asked to join Simplex by my father, who was owner of Simplex and director. The managing director was one Mr. T.I. Lake, who was a veteran, was a Britisher, who had joined Simplex sometime, I think, 1924, when this company was started in India. The main work of Simplex was to do pile foundation, but they were doing general construction as well. After joining, my father asked Mr. Lake to train me. Mr. Lake looked at me and said, "Raw boy, 19-year-old." He trained me how to speak English, how to write English for some few days, and then sent me to a project site and asked the supervisors over there to give me a good training and not to spare anything. A hard training. So my journey started. Started with screening aggregate. Start with cleaning machine. Start with cleaning gravel, which was full of red dust. When I used to return home in the evening at around 7 o'clock, after walking 2 kilometers and taking a local train and then taking a bus and then walking home, I was full of soot, dust, red dust, and black spots on my clothes from the grease and black soot, black oil, black burnt oil. But that continued. But it was very interesting. When I was asked to assemble some machines with a 20 millimeter bolt and tightening that, there were blisters on my hand. But I was enjoying it. Then the real work started. That is pile foundation work. Sir, pile foundation work is a very responsible work. Foundation of any structure is very important. If the foundation is not reliable, then the structure may collapse. Foundation of a person is also very important. If the foundation of a person is not important, then he will fail in life someday or the other. Truth is one thing. Sticking to truth, adhering to truth, adhering to true path, that is important. And this is what he learned as a foundation engineer. In those days, there were no computers, there were no calculators. We had to use log tables and slide rules for calculation. Anyway, I continued. After 3-4 months, I was sent to another project. After some time, I became in charge. I learned how to build a cofferdam, how to take a piling rig into the cofferdam and install piles, which was for a bridge. Then again, I was sent to for a building site, where I had to do foundation for building. And interestingly, on that project, this was for Birlas. Mr. Aditya Vikram Birla used to visit. He was also young of my age, father of Sri Kumar Mangalam Birla. And there was also work for T-board. I did work there for a few months. Then I was called again in head office. And then I was asked to go to workshop, repair shop, which was also there under the under our office and into the yard. Again, there whole day I had to work. There was no place for me in the office. So I learned how to repair winches, how to repair piling rigs, how to repair concrete mixer, vibrators. But that was very good. I had to open, close, assemble, learn about the parts and how it works. It was important for me to, I developed a sense of how things work. It is very important. We learn how things work, what they are and how they work. So I learned the importance of what, how. Then I learned when and where. So I learned machines, those are primitive machines. Earlier, before this time, in a state of diesel machines, there used to be steam engines. As some old timers will remember, the railway line or our rail was run by steam engines. Similarly, piling rigs and cranes were run by steam engines. But those are old days, and I think in our yard, some of the old boilers may still be like. After working in the mechanical section, then I was asked to go to design section and learn little bit about design and calculation and checking the drawings. It was by the time 1964 or so, I was sent to Kanpur to excavate and prepare, develop a pond reservoir. I went there. And then I had to use bulldozers and other earth moving machineries. I spent 5-6 months over there. It was very hard work. I used to go at 6 o'clock in the morning to get the trucks to carry hauling earth. And then by the time I used to return to place where I was staying, it was a small hotel, I was tired. And I used to fall down on the bed, full of dust. One old Bera, he was very kind to me. He used to wake me up and made me eat something. After spending 5-6 months over there, then again I returned. Again I was sent to another project site. It was somewhere deep in Bihar, the jungle. In those days, the projects used to be remote area, and the road on the way, there tigers used to roam. So I went there, and I came across people, local people. They had sticks in their hand, going above my head by 2 feet. Although they were some very simple, but they were for their honor. They can kill, they can beat you up. But some of them were supplying stone chips or sand or carrying out some such work. I had to deal with them. It was construction of a power station, Barauni thermal power station. Then I went to, for some time I visited one or two projects and again came to office. This time I was put into office as an assistant or a junior officer in purchase department. So I worked in purchase department. Oh, in the meantime, they had sent me to stores. So I learned how to storekeeping. And then I worked in purchase department for a couple of years. It was in 1967 most probably, or 67. Suddenly I was asked to go to Chennai. I have never been to Chennai earlier. I went to Chennai. I was married and with a kid, a daughter. I left my wife. There was no cell phones in those days, friends. To phone, to give a ring or talk to my mother or to my wife, we had to book a call. There was no direct dialing. So I went there. And earlier, the in charge of Madras office was one Mr. Phillips, an Englishman. He was not keeping good health, so he decided to call it a day. Why Mr. Phillips was there? You see, when in 1947, my father, when he purchased Simplex, there were some British engineers, and he thought that keeping one or two engineers in the company will be good. We can pay them, but they will guide the Indian engineers who are there. And Pile Foundation was not known to engineers in those days, so that would be easier. Anyway, it was very useful because I learned my trade from Mr. T.I. Lake, who was my guru. Mr. Phillips was a typical engineer. He knew foundation engineering, but then he was very good in mechanical engineering. But after 3 months, he left for UK. And in his place, no senior engineer had come to Madras. Our chief engineer and director was one Mr. Das Gupta. He said that you manage. I was totally at sea. And friends, I forgot to tell you, I have never seen the ocean before that. Leave alone working with that, over there. So I settled in Madras. I used to stay with a cousin, distant cousin of our family. They were very affectionate. He was elderly, nearing the age of my father, so I was very comfortable as far as living is concerned. But there is one thing very good. I got my first car for my own. Earlier in Calcutta, I didn't have my own transport. So I enjoyed. Living there. It was probably near Mambla. Our office was in Egmore, and I was living in Mambla, but I used to drive every day. On weekends, with the children of my cousin, because I was uncle to them, we used to go out and have some fun. That means going to some restaurant or some beach or That was very good in those days. All troops mostly were thatched or tied. People were very nice. And hardly there was any multi-story building. I think LIC building on Mount Road, probably that was the multi-story building, or maybe one or two more. So I started doing pile foundation for one or two projects. And then there was a project at Anur Thermal Power. At that time, there was political change in Chennai. Congress government had gone. DMK had come to power. Annadurai became chief minister. But along with that, labours were resting. And sometime some oppressed people or some people who felt that they have been oppressed, they were very vociferous and used to go against the authorities. Anyway, I had nothing to do with that. I started going to site or project site, learned about more about the local soil conditions and local conditions, and did some work for foundation of some buildings. Then I came to notice that we have been awarded work for a jetty at Anode Thermal Power Station. And we were doing some foundation work in Anode. It was a big project, but there was a lot of labor trouble. As much as that one day when I went to project site, first time, I was surrounded by 300 people, all shouting at me. I was at sea, what they are saying, because I didn't understand Tamil. My driver said that you, sir, don't go out, you keep sitting in car. I said, hell with it. Let me talk to my people. I came out of the car and just said that, please tell me, what is it? They gathered around me. They started, lot of people started talking. I said, talk one by one. Then I learned that their complaint was mostly against the project manager. I said, let us sit somewhere and then talk. Well, how can we solve the problem standing in the middle of the road or the site? So I asked them that send 4 representatives and let us sit. And they came. They narrated their problems. I understood their issue. I said, I'm going back to office, let me learn, and then I will come and discuss. There was some complaint about, I think, some action taken by project manager and dismissing some workers. I asked my commercial in charge, what is the issue? And then I learned the issue a little bit. Then I read about labor laws and all that, where we stand and where they stood. And next day when I went, I said I will solve it. But that day they kept me. They said, we will not let you go unless you solve it. I was sitting with the labor for about 36 hours without going home. But people, if you approach them properly, a lot of problems can be solved. I kept on listening to them and keeping notes in my diary. In the after 3-4 hours, I said, can I have a coffee? And they agreed with me, happily. It was evening. Then I said, well, how about some snacks? And we had snacks, and not only me, those who were discussing with me. But by that time, situation has quieted down. They started believing me. All night I was there. Around 11 o'clock, I said that now I cannot sit, I have to lie down. They allowed me to lie down. Also tired. I slept on the floor of the project site. Next day morning, they gave me a towel, a dhoti. I took bath and they arranged food for me. After 36 hours of discussion, I said I can solve the problem only after going to office. Even if you bury me here, I cannot solve it. But by that time, I could create confidence in the mind of workers that my intentions are good. I went to office and then sorted out the problem. And thereafter, the workers and myself, they became very friendly. As much as that they used to come to me with their problems, they used to prostrate before me. It was very embarrassing. A old man a prosthetic before me, but that repo was built. That helped me a lot. Coming back to the problem of jetty, I did not know how to install a jetty. The design was a row of 4 piles, I think 16 inch by 16 inch and about 60 feet long, and to be installed. So as far as design is concerned, working design, I did not know, but then I took the help of some engineer, one engineer who had joined me was earlier in Port Trust. He did not know how to design, but then his friend, who was still working in Port Trust in design department, he helped us, and then we could produce a design, and I was personally involved in designing the jetty and piles. After designing this, then the question was, then we start making the piles, casting the piles. He told me that in this sand, in this soil, you cannot drive the piles. So I asked the others that how to install. They said you have to jet it down. I didn't have any idea of jetting. So I asked them how to do it. They said, well, you have to get jetting pumps. That was a bit of a problem, but after some research here and there, some discussion, I procured few pumps. Now problem was of a frame, rig to install it. Ideal would have been to have a crane, but the cranes were not available. So it was a problem of mechanical engineering. There was no mechanical engineer available to solve it, so I had to solve it. Because when I asked help from Calcutta, they said, you manage. So I studied some books. Then I learned from the workers. You see, this is where the importance of good rapport with the workers. They have a lot of experience, rich experience. They have practical experience. They told me, sir, that you have to build a cantilever frame. You know, friends, a cantilever frame which is sitting on earlier foundation, projecting out to install. This is a very tricky design. So I said, well, all right, we will build a cantilever frame. But the problem was that it's not only to be cantilevered, it has to move sideways. So how to make it? This was a big problem. Some workers gave me some ideas from their earlier experience. They described, they could not design it. On their design words, I started making sketches. And then I decided to make a model, a small model. I made a model. And then when I found that this model can work, then I started building full scale. But the calculations were involved. I had to do structural calculations. I had to do calculations for rope, gearing, the pulleys. For a pulley, well, what diameter of, for a rope, what diameter of pulley should be there? All those things. And then I had to learn so many things from books and handbooks of mechanical engineering. But we produced the rig. Then we installed a trial pile. Now my jetting pump were working. To jet it down, we left a pipe inside, in the middle of the pile, so that from the center we can discharge the pressure, water, the high pressure, so that it can create, cut the sand and there is a room, and then if you drive little bit, the pile will go. If you stop the jetting, the sand will come back again and grip the pile. So we started. First we installed the trial piles, but installing trial pile was not enough. We had to test it. So we did load test of that pile. In the meantime, I got the soil sampling, or soil, asked some expert on soil mechanics to check what is there underneath. And then I learned this is the soil underneath. So confidently, we went ahead. And the work started smoothly. By this time, a good rapport was developed with the workers. But after doing the work, the problem was of survey into the sea. So that problem was solved, installing some marker into the sea with the help of a boat. And then the problem of carrying the precast piles onto the rig, because you can carry the pile on the side of the rig. You cannot carry it from the behind. So after the pile goes near the rig, well, you have to lift it up. So it has to go ahead little bit of the pile frame, and then you can lift it. And you cannot lift it from everywhere. If you try to lift a precast member from all the places, it will crack. So there was designated points from where we could lift it. But those problems, as we went ahead, we solved it. And the work was going on. My office was very happy. The department was very happy. They congratulated me. The chief engineer and superintending engineer, they patted my back. After doing the work during the day, I had to do calculations. How much work I have done, how much will be the billing, how much money I have spent, how much I will make out of it. After all, it was a commercial organization. So I had to keep an eye on the cost. I had to learn how to procure material. Stone chips, sand and cement was given by department, but the rest of the equipment, component of the equipment, and then some equipment, and in those days no import was allowed, and this was a specialized equipment, so component had to be manufactured. So we had to talk to the local workshops and tell them how to do it. It was a great experience. That he was going ahead very smoothly. Now the problem was they awarded another jetty, which was about 800 feet long, and size of pile was 18 inch by 18 inch, and length was a little longer. I don't remember now. But anyway, I was confident. We started work on new jetty. I did not know the vagaries of Perumbudur coast. Suddenly, sometime it was July, August or somewhere, I don't remember now, there was a change in the direction of the wave. As soon as there was change in the direction of the wave, some of the workers said that, sir, be careful. Now there will be erosion of the beach. I said, what? It's a 500 feet wide beach. You mean to say this will be eroded? He said, may not be so much, but then some part will be eroded definitely. after the change in the direction of the wave, the weather became a little bit cloudy, and there was a little bit of rain also, and beach started eroding. I was scared. My precast files were lying there, so I tried to track them in. But the erosion of the beach was faster than my clearing or dragging the pile in. Ultimately, the sea caught with my precast bed, and the pile started going into the sea. I was desperate, trying to save the money. In fact, so much so that one night, while we were working day and night, and one night while I was inspecting how far the sea has come, I went into the sea and was going to be dragged into the shark-infested water. And if it is thrown back, I will be thrown back on the precast piles. In that case also, I will die. God only helped me. Some unknown force rescued me. So that was the experience. It's called sandbar jetty. We lost money, no doubt about it. But learned that never play with the nature, never trust. Make the study of local conditions thoroughly. That lessons I learned. Jetty work was going on smoothly. After some time, I was called to Calcutta. It was Diwali time. Puja was going to be done. What happens in life, I am telling you. In Jammu, there was a bridge to be constructed. And bridge was ready, more or less. They had, in the foundation and made the piers and abutments and everything. And the deck slab was to be cast. They had fixed the shuttering. Overnight there was a rain, suddenly unseasonal rain. And all that infrastructure which we have created, or that shuttering or scaffolding which we have erected, that got washed away. So never trust the vagaries of weather, water. We lost heavily on that. So there were two losses. But you have to be strong inside. I give you an example. We were going to do Lakshmi Puja. It was Diwali day in our tradition. We do Lakshmi Puja. I was sitting with my father, and then I referred to two big losses and asked him, what we are going to do now? So much of loss. He nonchalantly answered me that we are going to do puja now. And I was taken aback. He just asked me to be on the current situation and to have courage. And I was enthused and encouraged and had courage now from his words. But have courage, face the odds of life. We went ahead. Thereafter, well, there were some good breaks also. Loss was recovered, but we were highly appreciated. Then I was asked to go to a number of project sites, power stations, steel plants, some water treatment plants, We started doing pipeline work. We started doing some road work too. We started working in Assam. We started working in far borders of Gujarat, and we started working in Kashmir, right up to Cape Comorin. And we were doing lot of power station work, cement plant work. On cement plant, I learned how to do chimney work. And in chimneys, well, it has to go up. So once you start, it is a continuous process. So we use slip form system. This form keeps on going up by hydraulic checks. So there were improvements in the working techniques. So we also improved our plant and machinery. Our plant department was very efficient and very capable. They designed a lot of things. We did not depend on imports. Fabricated. I give you one example. One day it was felt that we require a 75 horsepower engine. In those days, 75 horsepower engine was not manufactured in India. And import was not allowed. We had bigger winch, heavier winch. So where to do 75 horsepower engine? So then I was handling plant section. The problem came before me. So I thought that these trucks are having heavy 75 horsepower engine. So I looked at the diesel engines of trucks. I found that the Leyland engine is 75 horsepower. But the problem is that is rotating at 200 RPM, which is an automotive engine. And you require a industrial engine, low RPM, high torque. So I started reading about the diesel engines. And then I learned that if you increase the weight of the flywheel, the torque will increase. So I went to Leyland and I asked them that I want a heavier flywheel and with 1500 RPM. They said, sorry, we can't do it. Our design comes from UK. I said, hell, I will do it. I decided to develop my own flywheel. So I developed my own flywheel. We got it manufactured in Calcutta. And friends, I was successful. Converted a Leyland engine to an industrial engine, and thereafter everybody has been doing it. So if you have courage, conviction, if you study, if you go through books, if you try, you may have some failures here and there. But don't get discouraged. Apply yourself. This way there were a lot of things we developed. We developed jointed precast piles. Why? In Cochin, the piles were going about 80 feet. That is 80 feet, 90 feet, nearly 30 meters. No rig or no casting shift driven pile can be done, and because it was a filled up soil, drainage field, it was decided it will be precast pile. But precast pile of such a length cannot be installed. So I started reading and I visited some of the countries. Then I learned that it is a jointed precast pile. Then the problem was of joint. At many places they used to weld. After installing one section, they used to weld another section, which was a very tedious process. So then I saw some mechanical joints somewhere. And then I developed my own mechanical joint. I got it patented and we used it for a number of years. The work, the piles were installed and work was going on smoothly. There was big construction going on. You see, India was developing. So the size of power stations, when I joined Simplex, it used to be, the turbine used to be of 10 megawatt. And by the time I called it a day at Kodamkulam thermal, this nuclear power station, it is 1000 megawatt. Huge. Huge foundation. So we learned how to do these massive works. Tall buildings. One of the buildings constructed by us recently in Bombay, it was supposed to be 108 floors, but it is 84 or 86 floors, plus there were 8 or 10 podium floors. It is one of the tallest buildings. It's called World One. Similarly, we constructed so many other buildings, long number of buildings. But when you construct tall buildings, the problem is that due to wind pressure, there is a sway. I went to Japan once. Japan is an earthquake prone area. There are about 1,000 earthquakes in a year. You saw what happened in Turkey. So I was worried about that. And I learned that they are putting some sort of bearing under the buildings. Normally, we put in bearings in the bridge on top of the piers and between the beams. There is some bearings. But this development has to be much more. Earth can be devastating. And besides the loss of money, it's loss of life. We learned water treatment plant. We constructed some cooling towers. We constructed some cross-country pipeline. We started doing roads, and much more so, we started doing some defense work. I cannot reveal the details of everything which we did, but variety of work was done. And for each type of work, we had to develop or acquire new plant. Like tunneling, well, we acquired the tunneling plant. We are still doing some tunneling work. Life is interesting. Every day some new challenge. It is not a monotonous life of a construction engineer. This is what the charm and challenge is. So friends, if you talk about project, lot can be said. Now we started working outside India too. Sri Lanka, UAE, Oman, and all these places. We did some work even in Uzbekistan. We built a hotel in Tashkent. Journey to Soviet Union in those days was very interesting. We saw the construction work done by others. I used to go to Bauma plant fair and learn more about it. In one of the fair I met Mr. Google. In early days. Anyway, this is how the life has been. A lot can be said. You see, to describe 60 years of experience in 1 hour is very difficult. But then I am giving you some glimpses of what we did. And others also did it. Other companies also did it. But there are two sides. One is the designing part, other is actual execution. Actually, for a civil engineer or a construction, for civil engineer, the design work is only about 10%. And the construction engineer, he has to do a lot of things. I made out a small list what a construction is supposed to do. He has to be accountant, he has to be a HR man, he has to be a contract man, he has to be a legal man, and he has to be a plant engineer, mechanical engineer. And when you are doing electrical work, he has to be electrical. And nowadays, this IT has come. I had to be involved in IT and communication systems. So we have fully developed, and for planning, besides MS project, we have SAP and so many others. But I developed my own ERP, which is working very, very well. So you have to be creative. And there is much more scope. In quantity survey, there is a lot of work. In survey, there is a lot of work. And nowadays, there are drones to do survey work. And there are drones to check the long stretches of roads. So we have to advance. I made out some list. What the duty of a construction engineer was. I will ask Mr. Bose to read it out. Please read it out quickly.
This construction engineer's attributes, and mostly some of it is the 12 most important attributes of the huge civil engineering sector. One is the technical skills, communication skills, creativity, self-motivation, leadership skill, team player, vision for the world, updated technical knowledge, perfectionist, time management, critical thinking, and the last one is, but not the least of course, is a basic and overall idea of other engineering knowledge.
And besides this, you have to know about law, accountancy, cost accountancy, finance accountancy, taxation, and you have to know about local politics also. When I was working in Bombay, the area was controlled by Haji Mastan and Karim Lala. We had to deal with them. So, it's a very interesting life. Now, fortunately today, we have some very friends and colleagues who are veteran in this. They are also on the line. If you don't mind, I can ask them about their comments. What should be the qualities of the person who want to work in construction line or as a construction? You see, as far as I am concerned, what is your object? To be happy in life? My father has written a book, What is Happy Life? I will send this to your college. But you have to be a member of the society, so you should have a qualities as a human being. I will send you a book, Human Values. This is the book, Happy Life. I think translation is available in Tamil too, isn't it?
Yes.
So anyway, I will send you 2 copies to your library. But you have to have Niti. Where from do you learn Niti? One such person, to my mind, is great Chanakya. So this is Chanakya Niti. You can learn Niti from your Tirukuram. So many Tamil literature is there. And about IT, lot of work has to be done. I also tried to delve into it. So with one friend, Rajesh Bose, we produced a book.
Managing business in the civil construction sector through information and communication technology.
Or through information technology, how to manage things. So I have written my own thoughts. This has been published by IGI Global. Other books were published by our own organization, Bharatiya, Vidya, Mandir. I will send you a copy. And you should have faith on your own culture. India has a great culture. To give you an introduction about the culture, I have compiled a series of essays, which is here. So it's Indian culture. It's in 8 volumes. It took me about 18 or 19 years to edit it. But there are essays of great scholars. I will send a copy. So, after comments by some of the friends, I will, if you have any queries or questions, everything I cannot say, I could not cover. But there is one Mr. A.K. Chatterjee, who is on the line. Mr. Chatterjee joined Simplex in 1962, and he has been working here since then. 60 years with Simplex. Mr. Chatterjee, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please give your observation and comments. You heard me.
Yes.
Give observation and comments on life of a construction engineer. You have been construction engineer for 60 years. But please be brief.
Good evening, everybody. You have had a good lesson lecture from Mr. B.D. Mundhra, who is my guru, you can say in one way. I have joined Simplex in 1963 and still working with Simplex. That is not only for the job, but it is a professional satisfaction. I have spent my life in 2 stages of the construction. One was primitive and one is a modern now. In primitive type, age, in the previous in 63 or up to 80, it was all old fashion of construction with transit mixers and this and that. But now, at the present situation, you have all modern equipments with you, with us, and we are utilizing those equipments. Now, I will not take much time. I'll give you few small incidents of my life with Simplex. Now, as Mr. Mundhra has said, the challenge young engineers to accept the challenge. Now, one occasion I'll tell you that it was 1980 when I was having about 17 to 18 years of experience, and I was working for Tata projects in Bombay. Now, a question came of constructing a coal handling plant, tippler rather, by the side of the Arabian Sea, where the water level was much, much deep. Now, what has happened? One morning, my engineer called me sir, we have excavated, but we cannot lower down the water level. I said, all right, I am coming. Now, when I went there and I saw the Arabian Sea is at ground level or below ground level, but pit level was much below that and water was gushing. Anyway, by adopting measures and expected, first I punctured some hole through the walls of the pit and made the water level equal. Then after pumping and boring deep pipes, I dewatered some or other at 4 o'clock in the night. These are some of the challenges we have to face in our life, and we should face it. Now at 4 o'clock, my engineer said, sir, what to do now? I said, do the concrete. Ola, there is no pour card approved, no client is there, nobody is there, how to do it? I say, you pour it, because this opportunity you will not get again. So we poured the concrete and finished at 10 o'clock in the morning. Immediately, I was called by the team of Tatas and accusing me, yes, and telling their director that, sir, see, Simplex has done this. They have done their own concrete. The director heard everything, what his people reported against me. But ultimately, he gave a decision that you should give him a bonus, because what he has done, you would have not done it. Because this is a presence of mind, and do it. Because that occasion will not come again to get that pit dry for a few hours. So these are the challenges sometimes we have to face. We forget our family, our everything, do on the job. And I'll advise one thing, the first few years of an engineer, initial few years of an engineer, in this modern age, should dedicate it to learn not only civil engineering, but mechanical engineering also. Because now we are using most of the sophisticated plant of the world in our projects. Just like Mr. Mundhra referred, we were to construct 118-storied of building in Bombay, World War. But due to some aviation regulations, etc., it was cut to 188 or something like that. But that cannot be done with ordinary shuttering and the input with concrete. For that, a specialized shuttering is required. And we imported those shuttering systems and completed the job. Similarly, now in Bombay also, we have done lots of building above 60 stories with different size of shuttering materials. Latest equipments, latest hoist, latest crane, and moreover, latest system of shuttering. Earlier, people concept was civil engineering means some few planks, shutter karo, and put the concrete. No, it is not that. Now you have seen in Bombay, people are using tunnel boring machine. That is latest requirement for the metro railways. And see how sophisticated and mechanized it is. So scope of civil engineering work is vast, cannot be defined. Now in tunnel boring machine, civil part is very less, is most mechanical. Initial design is civil, the tunnel bore, diameters, thickness, this and that. After that, it is a mechanical process. Similarly, Mr. Mundhra referred about the chimney. We have done chimney 250 meters to 300 meters high. How? It is not a simple work. It is as he has said, it is a continuous process of concreting. You will go on pouring the concrete and lifting the shuttering side by side. And it is a continuous process. You can't stop in between. And you can stop, but there are other methods of stopping and restarting it. So, only thing I'll advise the young guys of civil batch that don't face the problem, accept the challenge, solve it, and get it with flying colors. Yes, you have done it. I am satisfied more than anything. In my last profession of 60 years, I have done all varieties of civil works, all challenges, and that is my advice to the young guys, that first few years, nowadays what happened? Somebody joins today, after graduation, 1 year left. After 3
Mr.
years,
Chatterjee, I am interrupting. We
yes.
have very little time.
Acha,
you
how much time I have more? Or it's over already?
Complete it.
Okay. Just I'm saying one or two sentence. Initially, after graduation, engineers should not run for money, but they should run for the job and learning. Have the concept first. Today, somebody is giving you 500 rupees more and you are changing the... No. And that is the thing proven in me. I continued in this organization of Simplex for the pursuit of the knowledge and development for 60 years. Even nowadays, even today, I am going to the sites, projects, and advising people on behalf of Simplex. What to do, what is the modern technology, how to do it in these problems. So, my young brothers, please do not go after money. Please go after the knowledge, and then you will have enough money at your feet.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chatterjee.
Thank you very much.
It was kind of you to join, and the young boys and young students will be benefited. Friends, you heard from Mr. Chatterjee. There are many veterans. I don't know if Mr. Dr. Swaroop is here, but probably he may come at the end. And we have many youngsters also. There is one Dr. Jyoti Garg, who is sitting, she is not an engineer, she has worked on project sites, on construction of airports. And then she went to US and did her, degree in management and returned to India. And she is working. Hi Jyoti, are you there?
Hello, good afternoon, sir. I'm there.
So how do you find construction life?
Sir, I'm really privileged, and I heard your story when you said you are not an engineer, and I got it. All the tough hands were on me because you got lessons from your boss and you mentored me and you gave me tough fight on everything. You were so hard on me, but I feel very lucky to have you as a mentor. Thank you for all the hard things on me, but necessary lessons that you have taught me. I have a tremendous amount of faith in myself and my abilities because of your ongoing encouragement. Through your mentorship, you have had all good answers and solutions for everything that needed to be addressed. I've learned things that would never have crossed my mind through your tutelage, and I would like to thank you for the difference you have made in my career. I'm not an engineer, friends, and I would like to thank Mr. A.K. Chatterjee as well, because he was tough on me as well. I started my career with, guides like both of Mr. Mundhra and Mr. Chatterjee. Thank you so much, sir. You have made me what I am today. Well, I'll introduce myself a little bit here. I'm working as a senior vice president in DRA IPL, and I'm working on the bullet train project in Ahmedabad, and working at 4 big road projects in Delhi NCR for 59 kilometers range, and looking after the project monitoring and controlling cell of DRA IPL. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Jyoti. Well, God
Thanks,
bless you.
Jyoti.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
So, friends, well, you heard, so the qualities, human qualities, are very important. There are a lot of things to be learned. There is another veteran. I will ask him to say a word or two for 2 minutes. One, Mr. D.N. Basu. He joined us in 1964, and today he is calling it a day.
He comes.
Namaskar, sir.
Mr. Basu, may I have the opportunity of having one or two words about construction life? Just for 2 minutes.
He can see.
Thank you very much. I had a 58 years of construction life, both in actual construction and project, the major project like steel plant, very major 2,000 megawatt thermal power station or nuclear power station, and also hydropower project and other fertilizer plant and all industrial structures, as well as residential building and very big, you know, building complex. Now, I had an experience what was there in the 64 and what is today. You know, the time the concrete was being carried out in mixer machine by female laborers. Today, it is concrete is mixed in a very controlled packing plant, totally computerized, and all design mix is done in a very, very accurate way. Now, the civil engineering is a peculiar correct science executed at the project area. And the total work, whether it's a concrete or reinforcement steel or the pouring and the leveling and the accuracy of these anchor bolts, pockets, etc., which I had an experience previously. Now it has been totally scientific, accurate, and very, very precision as in laboratory. In concrete structures, we have developed like anything. So I think all of you must be knowing it by this time. So with this present modern concrete, we have gone up to previously we are doing M15, M20 concrete or 200 kg per centimeter square. Now today it is 800 kg per centimeter square. The precast pebbles or the gravels or the tiles which we found in the roads and pavements is with that strength of concrete. So you can imagine from 150 kg per centimeter square to 8,000 kg per centimeter square. So what is the level of improvement? The both in ingredients of the materials of the concrete as well as their mixing, design, pouring, and technology. So there is real and genuine development in our construction project, both in type of accuracy, precision. We had an experience of working in the rocket launching station at Sriharikota. I will tell you, 1 millimeter error will cause thousands of kilometer error in the launching. So the precision has to be done to a fraction of a millimeter, which previously was not known in the civil engineering. The level machine which is being used by the engineers is least count is 5 millimeter. We have used 1,000 millimeter level machines by putting a additional scale on the top of the level stop. So this was possible with this modern engineering, the beautiful and intelligent, talented engineers, and the research and R&D department, which is being working on side by side to support the project. So, you know, there are a lot of things to say. Our sir has given me 2 minutes time. I think I have talked more than that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. Friends, you heard the experience of two veterans who have experience of more than 55, 60 years. Mr. Basu has been my colleague from 1964. We have worked together, and he's a very nice gentleman. So is Mr. Chatterjee. It's a pleasure to work with them. A civil engineer has to be a very good human being. A civil engineer should be truthful. A civil engineer has to be a good family man. A civil engineer has to have a good health. Yes, to work. So there are a lot of things which can be said about the qualities of civil engineer. I will now not take more time. Thank you very much for listening. There is interesting. Now, what is the future? What is the future for civil engineering? You see, friends, there are two. From the beginning, I said there is one is the design and other is actual execution. Construction engineer is on the field. So, what is the scope? So much of construction is going on. Trillions dollars worth of construction will be there. And so much construction has already been there. Now, how to maintain it? It requires an annual maintenance. There is no maintenance course. If it is there, well, I am not aware of. There is a lot of scope for maintenance. Number one. Number two, there is a lot of scope for in IT. Artificial intelligence. How to predict the life of a building. How to predict the life of a bridge. You know that every day things are happening. So, in IT field there is a lot of scope. And who knows what is there in store? People are talking of underground cities. And very soon you will find that. People are talking of cities under the ocean. That will be new challenge. People are talking of habitation in moon. So for young civil engineers, there will be a lot of scope. Only thing is that you should have to have patience and you should have to learn. You have to apply yourself. Be strong in mentally. Don't get carried by some allurement here and there. Be steady, just like these two veterans have been. They started as a construction engineer and they stuck. And I am one. So friends, thank you very much. Mr. Sanjay Rai is there. There is another gentleman, Mr. Sanjay Rai. He is in charge of plant and machinery and a lot of construction work. Sanjay, for 2 minutes, can you speak? No, he will not. His throat is...
He joined.
He has joined, but his throat is not all right.
I have a very bad throat, sir. Sorry, I could not speak in between or... Yeah, but there are certain photographs of the machineries which we are having and which are in operation.
I will send it to them. They can see all the
send it to them, sir.
Yeah, I am sending it to them.
Okay. Yes, sir, please.
Right, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Sanjay Roy has been a dedicated plant man, and not only plant, but he attends to so many other civil engineering projects these days. He is a very senior veteran. So I will ask. Now you see, besides there is a question of training, and all the workers, the new techniques, and it requires practice. So there is one Colonel Saxena, a hero of Kargil War. He is there from Delhi. He will say, Mr. Saxena, Colonel Saxena, 2 minutes, at least give your thoughts.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I give briefly about your thoughts, because then we have question answer session.
Sorry, I am a bit on oxygen support because of some problem. However, it is nice to hear everybody. One thing is there, it is not the machine, but it's the man behind the machine. And where the construction engineers and we all come into play. And that is what one has seen. One has been a long career after graduation from IIT Kharagpur, then a PhD from Jamia Millia, working with L&T and Army. I worked with Simplex with Mundhra Saab, with his kind patronage, and one has been very elated. The interest he has shown in the skills especially. And here I have innovated many things along with him. One thing is there that training, I think, is the last part of the construction management. Or it is not even mentioned as a part of construction management, I will put it that way. Probably it is only for the higher ups. Here, the innovations in skill training, in spite of government's push, today, you see the barriers are broken. All hereditary tradesmen are going away. The time has come where we have to develop the new breed, and with the new technology, the connections. We are trying to do that. One has been in this for last 20 years, and Simplex has done a good job. We have been doing for the Simplex, and a lot of training programs are on. At least today, I can vouch for everybody will see. 20 years before, nobody could see helmet and safety jacket on sites. Today, at least the awareness is there. People can see that. So it is a slow process, but it will definitely take a turn. And skill training, I will say there is no end to it. Ultimately, whatever technology you bring it, the best engineer is the one who can translate the complexities of the technical issues into a simple format which a worker can understand on ground. Then only it is successful. Otherwise, your whole technology, because ultimately that Natha Singh or Bhoop Singh is going to execute on ground. He should understand what you are saying. And what is the aim? That is the aim of the training today. With this, I think I must thank you. I will take not much of time.
Thank you, Colonel. And you heard Colonel Saxena. He was a hero of Kargil. Under the pouring bullets, he was removing the mines. He is such a veteran. Now, friends, well, I have said so many things. I will send you a few lists of what a civil engineer is supposed to do. I will send you certain photographs of the projects and plant and machinery which are being used, because to explain, it will take a long time. I will leave some time for your questions and answers. If you have questions, please come forward. I'm always available. Even after this lecture, you can send me the questions. Please go ahead.
May I request the audience to please, you can raise your hand, and then maybe Mr. Guru Swami or Gopinath can moderate and then pose these questions one by one. May I request the audience to post your questions in the chat box so that there is no confusion over my. Kindly type it out quickly. Maybe we'll have one question orally asked. Meanwhile, the others can type out the rest of the questions. We will take a couple of questions, okay, because it's 2:36.
Vidya, Vashini.
So yes,
Okay,
sir.
before, yeah, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Vidya, BE final year. Sir, as you said, you people have seen it all from the primitive to the modern construction. So, sir, with that experience, what do you think that a civil engineer of today need to know the most to stand out from other people around them? Or what are the qualities that we should work on, sir, to be better?
Did you say? Some of the qualities which I listed, I am asking Mr. Bose to read out.
Some of the qualities are technical skills, communication skills, creativity, self-motivation, leadership skill, team player, vision for the world, updated technical knowledge, perfectionist, time management, critical thinking, And last but not the least, once again, basic and overall idea of other engineering knowledge as well.
It is a lot of things which can be added. But first of all, I would say that a engineer has to be a good human being. Value, human value should be there. And he should have ethics, niti. But he should be up to date with knowledge and will have desire for latest knowledge. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, I would add one more thing. Hello, Mr. Bo?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Colonel, what to say?
and another thing, the biggest quality here with
Mandir,
this,
okay.
apart from the points you have mentioned, is the love and loyalty to the organization in which you are working at this moment. Now in India, since India has a lot of work across the span of the country, so there will be a lot of opportunities. But you have to have that loyalty and the love to work in the organization, and just don't. And the most important thing, the responsibility of being a proper civil engineer to carry out all the responsibilities and get the work done is more important, as well as and equally important as well as the other points which Mr. Mundhra has pointed out. That's all.
Thank you,
Yes,
Sanjay.
sir. Thank you, sir.
You see, well, let me say one thing. Parents, they bring up the children, but they fly away. We also, when the youngsters join us, we take pains to train them, teach them. We tolerate their mistakes. But tragically, that every 3-4 years, they change job. That does not help. You have to complete one phase of life. I'm not saying I'm not against the change, but choose the change very judiciously. Go ahead now. Any other question?
Priyadarshini madam.
Yes, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, proceed madam.
Hello. Am I audible? Sir, what do you think about artificial intelligence being a part of civil engineering, sir?
Artificial intelligence. What was the question?
What do you think about artificial intelligence being a part of civil engineering?
That's not clear. What's he saying?
Otherwise, you can please type out the question so that we'll be able to read it out for you.
Okay, sir.
Maybe meanwhile someone else can ask. I think your audio is not proper. Maybe the next person can ask a question and you can type it out, Madam Priyadarshini. Yeah. The next person, please. Next question. So Gopinath, we can go ahead with the next question. Anyway, let's not waste time.
Any questions for participants?
Yeah, Priyadarshini, yeah, we got your. Please post your question. You're mentioning something about AI. What is the exact question? That's what I wanted to know. Yeah, sir, I'll read it. I'll read the question, sir. What do you think about artificial intelligence being a part of civil engineering and its scope in future? Or how do you think AI is going to be useful. So still AI is considered to be more related to the IT sector. And how do you think AI will be of use in civil? So that's a question posed by Madam Priya. She is our student from second year civil. So.
Okay. Frankly speaking, I also I am not expert in IT, but, or about you see, AI. But what I am imagining, suppose you have to build a complex city. Simultaneously, all these structures are going up. Can you do it by ordinary IT methods which we have today? Or suppose there is a the decay of the building with some implants into the building and then correlating it with lot of data. So there are lot of scope of artificial intelligence, but how it can be applied, I am unable to exactly pinpoint, but I feel there will be lot of scope for artificial intelligence in future. But those who have good knowledge in application of this artificial intelligence, they can say better. I can consult them if I get chance and say more about it.
So I have a question as a non-civil engineer, Ganesh Vaidyanathan here. While we certainly need a lot of improvements because food, clothing, and shelter are the three basic requirements of our life. Do you think there is any implication of all this overbuilding of structures and because since you are also equally dealing with the Sanatana Dharma and other things, and I as a small child I've been always told that it's Bhuma Devi is very patient and she doesn't like this digging and so many other troubling businesses and all. So what do you think is the level or the maximum level to which these kind of activities can go on? Of course, we human beings have unlimited aspirations and requirements, but do you think these things should be checked or controlled at some level, or can this go on as long as we wish to have it? Sorry if this is making some...
Okay. I will give you my reaction. Number one, there is a book by Amit Goswami. He is a scientist from US. He has written, he is a quantum physicist and veteran. He has written a book, Earth is Conscious. To feel that all the materials are unconscious, that is a big mistake. I have felt it, that even a building which you construct, or even a stable, it is the manifestation of the that supreme being which takes place. When you are concentrated, you are inviting. In case of Prahlad invited Narsinga from that pillar. So Narsinga came. It is your intensity. Now, Earth, we call it Mother Earth. Can you treat your mother heavily? And this is what we are doing. So if you treat your mother heavily, don't worry, one day or the other, he will slap you to your right path. And this is what is happening. So, you can go up to a limit, but don't overtax your mother. This is what I think. She is as much conscious as or more conscious than what you are. And you can check it with modern science also.
I think I asked this question, based on the fact that they built the canal, to divert the Amurdaria or Sardaria river, and subsequently the whole Aral Sea, it dried up, and something of that sort happened, which is purely because of the human intervention and interference with the nature. So that's why I was curious to know to what extent. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a wonderful answer.
Thank you. What we are doing in Joshimath? We have old text.
Yeah.
So we are getting so many other places. He says these justice have happened. We are not.
Is it a wrong design, or or probably lack of, you see, as Simplex being one of the top organizations, you would have had many divisions which take care, or you also touch upon the the safety aspects and other things. Whereas there may be many small organizations which are not, really worried about the implications of what they do, and simply, execute the job for sake of getting a business. So I think this is basically whether this Joshimath kind of thing is it a result of these small businesses exploiting this, or do you think always, this is a result of over exploiting nature?
Greediness of human beings.
Greediness.
And this is what is happening.
Okay.
And carelessness.
I
just
say one line to it, that the reason for this is most probably, you see, the Western technology has gone really not with any natural construction methods, while you see the Indian constructions, which is 5,000 years old or so, it is in sync with the nature. So wherever we are deviating from those principles of Vastu Shastra is nothing else, but is a technique, architect, one form of. So when I'll tell you an example, when a donkey goes on a mountain, it goes on a natural terrain when he walks up. And when an engineer designs a track, he doesn't go by that. So the old construction ways were like the contractors used to put lime on the donkey and they used to leave him. Wherever he goes into the mountain, the track used to be cut. I am telling you of as early as 1980s, we used to do this. But the moment this survey thing, everything came, we started our own. And they go along with the fiber of the ground. That is what the difference is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have
Thank
another.
you. I would say we have to be in harmony with the nature. Harmony with Mother Earth. We produce a disharmonious note.
Yeah. So we have a question from another student by name Ms. Kavin Malar. She's from our final year civil department. She has posed a question like this. Sir, in civil engineering profession, work experience is being is considered as a great aspect to assess a person. Freshers always find it difficult to start in this profession, as people expect some kind of experience everywhere. She wants to have some advice on how to overcome this problem, or how to get a first impression, as the best impression, so that they will be inducted. I feel this is a very genuine question, and quite. So you have come up from very the scratch, and so I think you are the right person to answer this, Mundhra ji.
True. People ask for experience and length of experience. Can length of experience can make up for depth of experience, quality of experience? What I learned in those 1 or 2 years in Tamil Nadu, I could not have learned in 30 years of my life. So it is the depth of experience. You see a soldier, Colonel Saxena is here. When a soldier passes through a war, we call him war veteran. But then what is the length? 2 days. So quality experience is necessary, not the length. But what experience tells you gives you confidence. Once you pass through the confidence, self built up. You try to relate one thing with the other. So experience is necessary. But then, why don't you give experience to these youngsters? I asked AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education, Professor Punia was there. I think recently he has left the organization, he is with MNIT. I said, your curriculum which you are teaching in civil engineering, that can be completed in 200 or 250 days. Why don't you send them on project sites? So that they can have first-hand experience. A doctor does not get license without having practice. An advocate does not get permission without having practice. Why not for civil engineers or engineers? This is where our education system is lacking. We should give experience to these youngsters in under good guidance. The depth of the experience from these veterans will be very useful. And
thank you, sir. It's a wonderful suggestion. We will take your advice and incorporate the training as a part of our curriculum.
I will tell you another interesting thing. You know about this Kalinga Institute of Technology?
Pardon, sir? Tamil Nadu?
No, in Odisha, Kalinga Institute of Technology.
Kalinga, yeah, we know Kalinga.
Dr. Achyut Samant is a good friend of mine. So we went, I had a agreement for some time to train the engineers who came out for a year. And it was a wonderful experience teaching those boys and girls. And they are doing very well. Even getting educated, trained under the guidance of some veterans, it is privilege. I tell you a very interesting story.
Is it possible to get the opportunity with Simplex? If I am not, exploiting your kindness, so can we approach Simplex for this? Try a project or kind of experience, come training to send students by having some kind of. I'm asking this for the benefit of all the other teachers and people from other colleges who are here. Does Simplex have that kind of arrangement, sir?
One thing, I have left Simplex, so we have to ask them.
Got it, sir. Got it, sir. We will approach them.
One second. But I am still associated with so many organizations. Why not we try with all over India? Some organization, you are in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
It will be easier for the projects which are in Tamil Nadu to where the boys and girls can gather experience. But why not the colleges and universities and AICTE, others make a curriculum for experience? What they should learn? Going and simply whiling away their time, that is not good. You see, in name of experience, they go on holiday. So, I have been asking this for quite some time, that there should be a curriculum for practical experience. And if now I am old, you see, and eyes have become weak, but someday when you sit with me, or I can come down to Chennai, we can discuss how to solve this problem. Whether it is Simplex or L&T or this or that doesn't matter. We can ask our friends in other organizations too, that why don't you help the children? And I think some of them will be kind enough to agree. But we have to sit together and solve this problem for our society.
Sure,
I
sir. Thank
think
you.
all India movement.
Yeah, I think there are just we will just because it's going to be 3 o'clock. So I think we'll just take one more question, and then I think we will do a vote of thanks. Professor Gopinath, I think you
Yes,
have a
sir.
question. You can ask it orally.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is your observation and view about house raising technique, especially to lift the house? Since before you constructing, whether it is a small house or a high-rise building, whatever it may be, lot of formalities are there before they going for approval. You have to take the soil test based on the on the view from the structural engineer, design. Then you have to do the final foundation, file cap. Then all the formalities nowadays they are doing for constructing the house. People are saying that they are doing the house raising process so that without disturbing the structural aspects, they can raise the building to either 2 feet or 3 feet. So, how is your view and observation based on your vast experience in the construction field, sir?
What is the question?
I don't know, sir.
What you were saying is not very clear.
Yes, sir, I will repeat, sir. I will
Sir,
repeat.
no. I'll summarize to sir. So nowadays, a lot of people are lifting their houses. This is something which is happening. What was considered to be a what do you call a big miracle earlier has become very common thing. Maybe it's a development in the civil technology or something. So he is asking your opinion about, can we just like that do it, lifting the houses? I mean, the whole house by way of this kind of what do you call method is being deployed in many places. Again, Professor Gopinath wants to know about your opinion whether this kind of house lifting technique. What is your opinion about it?
Lifting the house.
Yeah, lifting the whole house.
Well, let me give you an interesting story. We had one Mr. Ganguly who was teaching me. He was a senior supervisor of construction fund. Joined in Simplex in 1928. So in 1961, he narrated a story to me. He wanted to construct a small house, a modest house of 1 story and with 1 or 2 rooms. He gave the job to a contractor and he was sent to some other distant place. Now the contractor, by mistake, built the house at a wrong place and wrong alignment. So when Mr. Ganguly came, he was flabbergasted. I'm telling you of the year 1964 or 65. So what he did, dismantling a house and again constructing it, that Mr. Ganguly could not afford. So what he did, he excavated near the foundation and put some girders under it and lifted it, the whole house on a jack, on series of jacks. And then those girders were placed on rollers or rails and he shifted the house. Where a new foundation was constructed, it has been done. This is not anything strange for us. We do have this sort of thing in mind, but it is not required. These days, but if it is required, smaller houses can be lifted and retransferred to a new location.
I believe this question was about whether any legal implications or anything. Anyway, that is a question to be posed to.
That I don't know whether there is any legal implications or not. That we have to ask
Yeah.
Advocates and other experts. But what is the legal expression? We have changed the location. If the structural design is all right, the strength is all right, why the lawyers should bother about it? Anyway,
Yes.
that can be checked.
So, are there any more questions? I think if there are no more questions, I think we have a vote of thanks coming up. But prior to that, I would like to, immensely thank. I think what we thought is just one expert lecture has turned out to be a 4-in-1 or 5-in-1 today, with Bital Das Mundhra ji inviting all his, expert colleagues, veterans especially, put in so many years of experience. We would love to have some continuous interaction. As I rightly expected, life as a construction engineer, the topic was a right mixture of technical as well as, the philosophical thing. What I thought that sir would touch upon values, responsibilities, and morals, also went ahead to tell about that we need to have courage, conviction, hard work should never be compromised. We should have an interdisciplinary approach, because this one particular point I think students should necessarily take up. They should come forward to discuss with mechanical engineers, IT engineers, So there is a scope to do a lot of things in an interdisciplinary approach. So we immensely thank you, sir. It was, I thank the Almighty for saving you from drowning on that particular day in Chennai. We are here to listen to you. So thanks to the Almighty. I only wish that He gives you the best of health and keep you, live for a very long time, and so that you will be involved in this kind of. I'm not flattering you. It's out of my heart I am saying this, because this is an amazing lecture. At the same time, an eye-opener for all of us, that from a small level, anyone can rise up to any level through sheer hard work, and of course, by being a good human being. So with this, I once again thank you, sir, and all your colleagues who have meticulously gathered here, and also all our deans, head of the departments, the controller, and everyone here. I thank all of them for joining and for listening to this wonderful lecture. Now I request our AICTE coordinator, Professor Guruswamy, to propose the vote of thanks. Guru, please go on. Yeah, 1 second, sir.
Anytime if you have any query or questions or suggestions, or you want to interact with me, you are free.
Yes, sir.
I welcome you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Come to Chennai, definitely I will visit your college.
Yes, sir. We would be very glad to have you in our campus, and also our chairman will be very happy to meet up you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will be very happy. Mr. Guru, you can go ahead to propose.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, very good evening, one and all. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose vote of thanks on this AICTE-sponsored online lecture on life as a construction engineer under the Distinguished Chair Professor scheme. I'm happy to share that SVC has got 2 AICTE proposals sanctioned under this scheme for the academic year 22-23. The Distinguished Chair Professor Fellowship intends to utilize the expertise of highly qualified and experienced superannuated professionals who have made an undoubtedly unchallengeable, unparalleled, and exceptional contribution to society in their respective fields in any discipline and professional, for benefit of students, faculty members of various institutes across the country. Recently, we have conducted a 2-day workshop on gender audits in higher education institutes, why and how, by Padma Shri Professor Dr. Meenakshi Gopinath, founder and honorary director, Women in Security Conflict Management, Peace, New Delhi, under this scheme. In this series, this online lecture on life as a construction engineer is organized today. First of all, I express our sincere thanks to AICTE for sanctioning the grants under this AICTE Distinguished Chair Professor scheme. On behalf of Venkateswara College of Engineering, we express our heartfelt gratitude to Distinguished Chair Professor Dr. Bital Das Mundhra, former Chairman, Simplex Infrastructures Ltd, Kolkata, West Bengal, for a wonderful, inspiring, and enlightening lecture. Sir, it is not only in the field of construction and also in the cultural heritage of India. Thank you very much, sir. A quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt says, "There can be little doubt that in many ways the story of bridge building is the story of civilization. By it, we can readily measure an important part of a people's progress." I would say Dr. B.D. Mundhra sir's entire life is devoted to the construction of India and the people's progress. Thank you, sir. The SVC is very much privileged and proud to have you as a distinguished chair professor. I would like to thank Sri Ranjan Raina, Ms. Jyoti Garg, Sri Basu, Sri Sanjay Rai, and Sri Saxena for sharing your wonderful experience to us. Sir, we seek your continuous guidance and blessings to our institute. Thank you very much, sir. I wish to express our profound thanks to our chairman, Dr. A.C. Muttaya, Secretary Dr. M. Svanandam, Principal Dr. S. Ganesh Vaidyanathan for their support, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts towards organizing this lecture. Also, I wish to thank deans, HODs, and the controller of examination of the various, HODs of various departments for their support and active participation. I wish to express my sincere thanks to participants from various institutions and universities across the Tamil Nadu and the participants from SVCE. I'm sure this lecture has enlightened us and give us the more insights about the construction field. Finally, I want to end up with a quote from Anal Palmer: "The road to success is always under construction. We create our own way to reach our success." Thank you all once again, Jai Hind. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will formally close this meeting. Thank you very much, sir. Very kind of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The recording can be stopped now.
God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.